So process and all we have seen in our exercise class. So today let's touch base on important things, and then we'll actually move on to the so yeah. So let's first start with the frameworks first, the words which we were talking about, and we'll see the complete version list of .NET, and we'll try to understand the version list of Visual Studio, how it connected and all, and then we'll fine. Now, starting the versions we have. So when we talk about versions, right? So actual development of .NET framework started early 1990s, right? So during the start of or during the program .NET development. So when I say .NET development, the of the framework we're talking about. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm Swati. Actually, I'm unable to listen the class for my laptop.
Okay. So now, okay. So first, initially, it was NGWS. Right? The name was not .NET. It was mainly the NGWS, which is called as your Next Generation Windows Services. Now, this is the name with which came before it actually got before it actually entered into market. So here, when we are talking about versions, right? So this is the your product name when the actual development started, and the first version, which is the first beta version of .NET, actually got into market during 2010. Sorry, during 2000 or 2000. That means, right? And before this actually introduced into market, there are two technologies mainly. I mean, VB or VB6, I would say mainly. VB6 was very powerful at that time for a long time. Then you have ASP. So this is used for Windows-based applications, and ASP for web applications. So these two are not object-oriented programming languages, and was built on and this is a pure object-oriented programming language, right? So the version, right, actually got introduced into market during 2000. So let me just take a version and years it actually in market. This is 1.0, right, which was introduced into market during 2002. So 1.0 beta, right, a pre-release for 1.0, which was released into see when we say beta version or alpha version, right? So there are certain community, certain software community to them or certain partners or quality partners, company partners, so they can test the product and make sure that the product is everything ready, and if there are any flaws, they fix it, get back and do stuff. This cycle is something which always happens, right? So in that situation, if you can see, 1.0, which is a 1.0 beta, normally we call, got released into market during 2007. Right? But to the wider developer community, it was on 2002, right, which it actually got introduced. Right? And during that time, Java was playing very strong technology, which was leading the market, because it actually created object-oriented for both Windows and different type of applications, right? So when it actually got introduced, on 2002, what was not that successful because of some net like securities and more features and all. Microsoft actually introduced immediate version called 1.1 subversion, right? Here, which is on 2003, right? Which contains all the mainly security issues solved and all other issues which are major issues solved and got into market. The first stable version of .NET was 2.0, which on 2005. So now, even in now in Visual Studio, we can actually see versions from 2.0. 1.1 and 1.1 are not there anymore. They are already died, and Microsoft support for these versions too. So the main version which we can use for the applications is 2.0, and this kind of first stable version, and this is the point when actually Microsoft captured the market. So still here, right? More features available in .NET kind of, like which is mostly required. Like you have a console type of applications, your Windows type, your web applications, your web services, your class libraries, which is called the libs. All type of required feature product types, yes, we had in 2.0. And from here, it was based version. Because every time .NET version got released, it actually empowered the framework, right, including so many very rich features. So 3.0 was a version which got introduced into market in 2006, right? And all the WPF, WCF, right? Where we're talking about the different frameworks or cross-platform communication frameworks, right? Was introduced in 3.0. Then we have subversion of 3.5, which got introduced in 2007, and the point when Link got introduced. So Link, you see, when I say these features introduced here, which means that if I say Link program, if I want to use a link feature, then I can't use it in 2.0. Simple, because I don't have a link feature. So I'm saying, so we talk about link, right? Some certain feature, right? And which actually got into that link. We have a very strong frameworks called Entity Framework, SG. So we're gonna see in our upcoming classes, right? And then we have a major release again, which is 4.0, right? Which was a big release, which got introduced during 2010. Then there was a gap of 3 years, but yes, it was very where in 3.5 itself, where Silverlight and PCs was introduced, I actually got empowered. The features was enriched in 4.0 mainly. So, and then we have next version, which is the current main version, 4.5, actually got released into market during. There are minor versions going on market now, right? Market, it is 4.5. 2, which was till 2014, it was there, right? And currently it's almost 5 running, which is 4.5, of which is running till date, right? And almost 5. This was 4.2 was released on 2014 basically. It's a very stable version, right? So to be more clear, 4.2 is a version which is latest in market now, right? Some minor versions are going on, right? And the and it is into market soon, right? So these are the complete version list we have for .NET. Now all these versions, right, are not independent. Now most of them are dependent versions actually. That we normally have a dependency. So as soon as you install, so you haven't installed .NET Framework yet, I hope. So anyway, as soon as you install Visual Studio, right, the .NET Framework automatically required framework for specific version, right, will be installed completely. So don't have to worry about it. Right? Make sure that whenever you're installing some X, it will show the X-2 or X-3 version, which is dependent version will also install. Right? You can see that your .O, right, still completely standalone version. The dependency between 1.0 and 1.1 and 2.0. They are completely independent versions till 2.0. O is something which is dependent or some we normally call installed over 2.0. Right? So as soon as you download and install 3.0 framework, .NET X 3.0, it is installed 2.0 and on top of it is installed 3.0. So which means you'll find both 2.0 and 3.0. I'll show you when you start up a simple project, right? I'll show you that. Don't worry. Your 3.5 is again dependent on 3.0. Not dependent. So is again a standalone. There is no dependency, which is again altogether still we have 4.5. So 4 we normally call it as a replacement of 4.2. The dependency is not direct. It's like, now here you can see we normally call 3.0 is installed over 2.0. Similarly, your 3.5 is installed over 3.0 because there are some upgrade libraries which we normally do. Now here 5 is which is kind of a replacement of 4.0. Right? These are the dependencies we have with respect to the versions. And so parallel to the versions, right, now when we talk about Visual Studio now, definitely, so I'm now here that when we're talking about .NET Framework, let's say we are using .NET Framework 2005. .NET Framework 2.0 which got released in 2005, for example. Right? During this time, there was one version of Visual Studio called Visual 2005, very powerful IDE which actually got into market, and so many developer communities use this for very long time. I see Visual Studio 2005 completely compatible with 2.0 and few versions of the 3.0 and X. So as versions are increasing, definitely we will be getting newer versions of a Visual Studio. That's for sure. Versions of Visual Studio, because the compatibility of framework should provide it based on upgrades of features. As features are upgraded, your IDE support those features. Simple as that. And in that situation, you can see during 2000. In between 2007 and 10, we had one more full Visual 2008, right? And during 2010 days, we had complete Visual Studio look and feel 2010, right? And then we have Visual Studio 2012, and then we have 13, right? And we have 15 going on. There are multiple versions of we have Now all these versions, right, now from 2012 itself, they are compatible with 4.8.x. And you're gonna see one of them, we're gonna see the stable version of 2012, right? It includes all the features of 4.5. Now the vertical versions of Visual Studio. The vertical versions which is like across years, it will release multiple versions. But in every version, let's say, take an example of Visual Studio 2015, which is a download. Like one of the vertical versions. This vertical, there are horizontals like, okay, this is you are sitting at home and use this software. Using software, you have to understand, okay, things which are vertical, which we need, right? The first one is your Express Edition. So basically, Visual Studio is not a free software from Microsoft, right? So it provides Express Edition as a completely free editor horizontal version, which can be used only for learning purposes. We're supposed to use this for enterprise development. Right? Then we have professional and the enterprise edition, the ultimate. So these are the horizontals we have. Express edition is completely free. Your professional, right? Your enterprise and ultimate. Ultimate is the costliest one we have, right? Which is enabled with all features, of using based on your licensing cost. Yeah. So these are horizontals we have. Right? I was just to install your Express Edition, right? When you enter into any company, definitely you will be using one of the three, either professional or ultimate or enterprise edition for your enterprise development. Because more of the features will not be enabled again back in other versions. The version list and the dependencies and the visual versions we have, right, in market. First, I hope you guys are going to install your Visual Studio 2000 solution and you can start looking at it. So this is what we have for your version. To the built-in component called CLR, right? CLR, I've got components which are named for some or running of any .NET applications, right? So we'll see this part, but before, so in .NET, right, there are two very important components. One, your CLR, and second, your classes, or generally called as base class derivatives. Right? We have class derivatives or base class derivatives. Right? Two main component. Yes, derivatives we're gonna see, right? Across our code, we're gonna multiple libraries which can be used for multiple feature development. That's your possibility, and I'll give you the hierarchy which is normally maintained. Right? Next we have CLR2C, which is an internal to .NET framework, and all the internal components of .NET framework, which is like internal complex CLS, CTS, characters, and JIT, and most of Fine.